Hey everyone, this is the Slovakia ring. We're back after 2 years and after race one, we're ahead of race two. So excited ahead of the reverse grid, which means who finished race one on 8th position, right now starting front of the pack. Shall we walk onto the grid? Let's have a look. The doors got opened recently, just 15 seconds ago. So this is why it's still empty here, but you see, of course, our famous pace truck driver, Frank, and with Lucas, the Ford F-Max, standing there in front of us. This seems like lots of space, but as you will see, we're going to have wheel-to-wheel action, very, very close and very, very close championship. Of course, Norbert Kisch won first race. Jamie Anderson got some important points at the Promoters Cup still. Shane Brereton in the lead, though. I think it's only 3 points difference in between those two guys. So let's have a look, Chase Draycott and Joachim Eberts, onto the highlights of race number 1.
Yeah, and it was a very, very interesting race indeed. The drivers all mentioning about how tough the heat was, and well, Sasha Lenz certainly turned up the heat early on. He tried to make the most of a good start and get around Norbert Kisch, but unfortunately it did not work. It came very clear though early on that dust would be a problem around this circuit. So many drivers and so many trucks kicking up loads of dust, as you see there, all around the track as people just run those extra few millimeters wide. Andrei Kurzim and Antonio Albertetti started a fantastic battle into the latter stages of the race as we followed Adam Lachko and Steffi Halm fighting for 4th place. Eventually, Adam Lachko would get through and Steffi would have to relinquish 5th. Jamie Anderson was trying to overtake Antonio Albertetti on his way to a Promoters Cup victory over Shane Brereton, but Shane would get a 5-second penalty to drop him down behind Stefan Fass in the end, while Norbert Kisch took another light-to-flag victory, his 6th race victory of the season. It was a really, really strong fight all the way through and a hell of a lot of fun. And another very, very familiar podium, while tyres were the discussion point at the end. Everybody very up and close and personal with the podium. It was great to have everybody all together. But first, second and third, Kisch, Lenz and Hahn once again in Slovakia.
Thank you very much, Evie and Chaz. As you mentioned earlier, 4 letters winners. It was Hahn, it was Kisch, it was Lenz, and it's you, Chaz, C-H-A-Z, and me, Christina Ron, R-A-N-N. Yeah, I think it's always 4 letters. So why can I tell you this? Because as you see, it's still empty here in the pit lane, but we are be back here because the trucks are coming up here. So what is in between? Of course, it is in between Parc Fermé, but also the engineers will have a little adjustments there, here and there on the trucks. We did not see severe damage, as you've mentioned, Chaz. The only and one important thing this weekend is to keep the tires. I don't know if they got ice package on or something to keep them cool and keep them clear. As we talked to Davide Califano from Goodyear, they're also doing lots of tests, and they're very endure, those tires. But in these conditions here with 53 degrees on the asphalt, that's really hard to keep. This asphalt is 12 years old, so kind of puberty right now, but still in a good shape over there. As you can see, this track is really, really special. As I mentioned earlier, 6 kilometers is just one round, and this is why we were going to see 8 rounds with a reverse grid of 8 drivers. That's interesting. And so we have in total, like, oh, my math is really bad, but like 48 or something kilometers to have a proper race then there. So for Voraus truck, as is called in German, and our pace truck, they are waiting for our truck drivers. And what's always a good sign is also that there's the signal and there's the girls with the flags. They are coming onto the grid as well. So I have a look, and it's not much more to see. Chaz, do you have any clue if there's anybody on the grid, maybe somewhere over there? Do you see anything?
Not at all. It seems like an absolute ghost town down there at the moment at Slovakia. We can see our wonderful official truck and our pace truck over on the grid as well. But that's just about it, to be honest with you, Christina. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott here in the commentary box. Really looking forward to a great second race this afternoon. Of course, one of the main talking points is the reverse grid. And we'll get onto that in just a moment as we take a quick look here at the Slovakia ring itself. It's 27 degrees air temperature as well, so it's nice and sunny. The track temperature itself is over 50 degrees, though. It's absolutely mind-blowing. You can see just how tight and twisty this track is, though. Lap times here are nearly 3 minutes in these trucks, so it's a really, really long time. And, of course, a lot of these sweeping and long, smooth corners really don't help tyre life, and it is one of the main talking points today, that the drivers have to look after the tyres. And you could see just who did look after the tyres in that first race. There were a few drivers that managed to keep their pace up right near the end and didn't push the tyres too hard in the earlier stages. As we see Antonio Albacete making his way out onto the circuit in the T-Sport Bernau number 23 truck. Looks a lot prettier than it did when we finished race 2 at the Hungaroring just a few weeks ago, doesn't it? But still, the breeze blows over the circuit, and I'm sure everybody will be very happy with that as it cools them down slightly. Jamie Anderson is in a fantastic position here at the very front of the grid to take some strong points away from this in the Promoters' Cup, because the next rival he's got is a good 7 or 8 positions back. Andrei Kurzim lines up third with Steffi Halm in fourth. I have to mention as well Antonio Albacete joining Jamie Anderson on the front row. Adam Lachko and Jochen Hahn make it a very Titan-esque row 3. And then behind them on the fourth row of the grid, we have Sascha Lenz and, of course, reigning champion and current championship leader, Norbert Kisch. Next up, we have all of the chrome-rated drivers in the Promoters' Cup. Stefan Fast starting 9th ahead of Shane Brereton in 10th place. On the 6th row of the grid, it is Jose Rodriguez alongside Clemens Hecker. And then on the back row of the grid, on row 7, we have Louis Requenco and Teo Calve, who had another DNF to add to his tally this season. He's really not having any luck at all this year, is Teo. He had a great first meeting, admittedly, at Misano, but since then, he's just not had luck on his side. There is Lewis down on the grid with Frank as well in front of the Iveco. And there's a number of all of the officials and media team all down there. The Slovakian flag, the FIA ETRC flag, and of course the FIA flag as well on the start-finish line. And they give you a definite example of just how windy it is out there. You can see the breeze really picking those flags up. But that's going to be the main difference tomorrow. Apparently, the breeze will not be there. There is the shot from Lewis and one of our grid girls. And you can see it's very barren on the grid. It really is very barren on the grid. And it looks even more so because of the fact that this grid is so wide. It is basically built on what is an old runway here in Slovakia. So it's a perfect straight. And speaking of perfect, there's our beautiful Iveco S-Way pace truck. Wonderful machine in its gorgeous metallic blue. And I'm sure around the corner will be Frank in just a moment. Wait for him in his white overalls. There he is. There's Frank the Tank. And Lucas as well. Good to see Lucas out there. They give us a wave. You can see the massive bio-LNG tanks on the side of the Iveco. The humongous chrome tanks. Looking very striking indeed. And you can hear the trucks making their way around to the grid. All ready to line up in their necessary positions, go through any final checks, and prepare ahead of what's going to be, I'm sure, a very frantic race. While this circuit is a very, very long lap, there's a lot of really flowing corners around here where drivers have to be so careful about any sort of overlaps and make sure they don't have any problems. I believe Christina is ready down there on the grid, though, with an interview in just a sec, and we'll throw down to her and see what she's got lined up for us.
Yes, it's Xavier Matin. Since the tyres are such a great theme this weekend, we do have Xavier Matin from Goodyear here. It's so interesting to hear all the drivers got the same problems on one hand, but also the same benefits. What can you tell about how many tyres can a driver use per weekend?
For the top 10 drivers, they are allowed to use 6 new tires per day maximum. Okay, so they have to manage because here the track is very aggressive with very fast corners. So they have to improve to save the tires. So they have only 6, and they can also take 2 jokers if they want. It's 6 jokers maximum per season, to put on the front. But at this moment, nobody took jokers, so they mixed. They put front tires at the back, and to have more traction, more direction on the front. And let's see. But here it's really difficult because the tarmac is aggressive and also the temperature is high. So, but they manage. Yeah. And the best one, I think, is Norby. Norby is perfect to save. Look, this morning, for example, when for qualification, he did only 1 fast lap, and for Super Pole, only 1 fast lap. So that means only 2, and the others 2 or 4. That means the tires are in best condition for Norby, and for the others, less.
Norbert Kirsch, of course, but if he is up to 1 fast lap, of course, the other contestants need to get near that. So it is not a good idea to change. For example, he told us, and Adam Lachko telling us, due to this really, really long corner, they've got really rubber loss on the left tire. So if you change that and have a brand new tire on the left and the old on the right, is not very good.
No, normally you need to change 2. Because but what they can do is also to turn the left and the right side, because the right side is normally in better condition. But yes, it's they have to improve. They have to calculate. In fact, and it's not only racing. They have also to think about it.
What is your work exactly here?
So I'm a supplier for Goodyear. I manage everything for orders. Invoices and transport also, and mounting tires. So it's my job. My jobs, I would say.
And during nighttime, of course, mounting tires. So when do you sleep during daytime?
Small night. When it's finished. We know when we begin. We don't know when we can stop. When the work is done, it's done.
How's the schedule managed? So top 10 coming up first to you, get the first tires?
The priority is top 10, but all the others went also to me and asked me 2, 6 tires. But I have to do it before to go to sleep. And also the administrative work after. Yeah, but okay, it's my job and I like it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for this inside perspective. I imagine me putting out a pen right now saying left tire, right tire. Yes. But they don't do that. They've got it all by one.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to you, Chaz.
Lovely stuff. A great insight there, actually. Thank you very much, Christina. Always great to speak to many different types of personnel down on the grid. There's Antonio Alberthetti, now over 500 races deep in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's almost like he knows what he's doing right by now. There's Tim Frost as well, just in the background, team manager, and the beautiful beefy engine that you see in the back of the MAN. Phenomenally beefy engines. They really, really are. Some 13 litres, single turbocharged, 6-cylinder monsters in the back of these trucks, churning out over 1,200 horsepower. And putting nearly over 5,000 Newton meters of torque through both sets of rear wheels. Let's not forget that these trucks have 4 rear wheels on the back, and then they just have the 2 wheels on the front, of course. So sometimes, as you saw at the Hungaroring, some of the trucks will maybe get the outside rear tyres damaged if there's any sort of wheel-to-wheel contact, but they'll still be able to run at nearly full pace as long as the other wheels aren't affected by it. And we've seen it a few times over the last 2 seasons that some of the trucks are almost on full pace, even with a completely battered rear wheel and flat tyre and all sorts. And we go back down onto the grid with Christina, who's got an interview for us.
Yes, Team T-Sport Burner, you were out first. Antonio Alberthetti in his truck. We waited a bit here, thought, where is everyone? Can you explain a bit why it took so long? Was it our fault?
I don't know. I think we're just efficient, so I don't know. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of damage compared to Hungary, so I think we might play the lottery tonight. So yeah, no, it's good. I think it's okay. I hope it's okay. I don't think we miss anything, so.
No, seems complete, the truck at least. So, but we waited here a bit to get you all here. As you mentioned earlier to me in a personal talk, that you said you worked really, really hard during the last 2 weeks because clearly after Hungaroring the truck was completely damaged. How did you manage to do all that?
So me and Tom, we stayed in Hungary in just a garage which we've never met before. And we must say thank you to them. So it's Columbus Trans in Hungary. And me and Tom, from Friday until Friday, we worked 140 hours each. So it was pretty extreme. But the guys, like I say, the guys in Hungary, we've never met them before. So I've got to say a massive thank you to them. So.
Great shot. Oh, thank you very much, Tim Frost. Let's go to the driver, to Antonio Albacete. Antonio, race 2. Good to see everyone back here. What is the perspective right now? Is it really even more difficult than after the first race because the asphalt is heating up more?
Yeah, it's going to be hotter than the first race, so it's going to be tough for the tires, and then the tires are already coming from the first race, so it's going to be difficult. And also to start here in the outside for the first part of the circuit is not so easy. So I will try to do a good start, and I will try not to lose many positions.
We saw some drivers entering a little bit of the gravel right down here. We were standing in the dust, obviously, then afterwards. What do you think about there's this narrow part in the center, but also this part at the end seems a bit where you can, I don't know, but drive like more tactics or just, push some sand onto the windscreen of the other drivers?
No, I don't think so. It's just to take a little short way, Yeah, I mean, the circuit, the outside of the circuit is a little bit dusty, so as soon as you touch a little bit, it's a lot of dust. But no, we are not doing it on purpose. No, not to put some dust in the guy who come behind. No, for sure.
Oh, someone told me that earlier. But a really interesting race weekend. We are here after 2 years break of Slovakia ring. As you mentioned earlier, it's very special. Do you see some fans in the stands also? And the track view is also very beautiful for us spectators. How much do you get of this special track?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a good track. I mean, I like it. I mean, it's a little bit longer for track racing, but it's good. It's good because it has very, very fast corners and also some slow corners. I know that it's tough for the tires, but I mean, I think it's quite good track, so I enjoy to race here.
We enjoy watching. Thank you very much. So let's have a look at the tires. Yep, seem all right. Just kidding.
All right, before they go out for another race like they had earlier, it could have actually had chance to get even hotter out there on the circuit itself. It's been sat in the sunshine for a long old time now, and I'm hoping for the drivers and the team's sake that things do start to cool down. We know how difficult it can be, and there are the always cool Revesh Racing. The guys always looking sharp as ever, and like I keep calling them, they are a very well-oiled machine. They work so well together, and so does that beautiful Revesh Racing MAN with Norbert Kish at the wheel. It was great to see them have such a good run on the Sunday at the Hungaroring, to see them absolutely thriving on home soil. They did a really, really strong job. And we're going to be hoping that they can do more of the same today. There's the number 17 of Shane Brayton in the foreground. The number 17 is obviously covered in the Apollo Tyres branding. And the team do an amazing job at keeping the branding very, very fresh. It's always good to see them as well. They're always a good laugh. They look after me very nicely, I must say, whenever I visit them in the paddock. And I hope they're all having a nice, easy weekend of it. And that gets extended to all the teams as well. It's sometimes very, very tough, these race weekends. Very, very quick turnarounds as well. We just had a 1 hour turnaround from one race to the next. That really puts it into perspective, really. And back into a perspective from down on the grid, we have Christina.
Absolutely. Doors are open here at the truck of Steffi Halm. You were always racing into the points throughout all the races, and right now you achieved 8 points in race 1, slowly achieving more. How satisfied are you with the outcome of this race 1? Because you had a really strong fight with Adam Lechko again.
Yeah, it was a nice fight with Adam, and it was completely fair. I made a mistake, and he took the chance, so all good. I'm really happy with the first race because I think we could close the gap a little bit to the guys in front. That was what we were working for the whole day and the weekends before. So yeah, I'm really happy with the first race and with the speed we can go. And for the second race, we will see what will happen.
Of course, you were heading to the podium maybe throughout the season. Of course, this is a main goal for you as well. Slowly improving. You said you were working very, very hard on the setup also. How are you satisfied with the setup right now?
You know, here the track is really, really difficult and tricky for the setup with the truck because we have a lot of high-speed corners, and it's you need a good management with the tires. And we saw in the first race that all the people get problems during the race, and everybody gets slower. But I hope that we can stay more constant than the others, so that in the end or in the middle of the race we are a little bit quicker and maybe can get a chance to overtake.
Thank you very much. As you have seen, multitasking, Steffi Hamschild put her gloves on because not much more time until race 2.
No, all of a sudden, while we were waiting for everybody to make their way around to the grid, it's suddenly upon us. And in just a moment, all of the personnel and everybody else will be asked to leave the grid. And then we will all try to keep things nice and calm and not get overly excited. I always get overly excited before these races. And speaking of getting excited, Lucas is throwing the Ford F-Max around through turn 3. That was fantastic. Absolutely launched it through there. He's got smoke coming off the front tyres. Well, he certainly enjoys his job. I was having a fantastic chat with him in Budapest. And he's a really, really top guy. And the Ford F-Max is a absolutely top truck. It is the International Truck of the Year 2019, as it proudly displays on the back of the cab. And it's great to have the support from Ford as this machine makes its way around the Slovakia ring for its inspection lap, just to make sure everything is all above board and everything is all tidy and ready to host some frantic racing. Norbert Kish will be starting from 8th on the grid in his MAN with Sascha Lenz alongside him. But Norby's going to be on the outside of turn 1, and then importantly, he's going to be on the outside of turn 2 as well. So he's not got any sort of opportunity for some sort of cutback like we've seen at Misano and Hungaro Ring, where turn 1 goes to the right, but then turn 2 goes to the left. It is 3 right-handers to start the lap here, so you are at a disadvantage by being on the outside. That's the point of putting pole position on the right-hand side of the circuit. Look how windy it is out there and all the dust being blown around. Looks almost like stormy conditions, doesn't it, if it wasn't for the heat? I think a lot of that is down to the heat haze that is, of course, covering the circuit as well. Here is the F-Max now making its way through the right-hander at turn 11, and then watch the weight transfer there to the left through turn 12, and then up over the hill before getting a look at turn 13. And once the Ford F-Max makes its way into the pit lane, we'll get everything ready to go. And Frank will lead us away in the Iveco S-Way. And the whole field will follow on. You could see them all in the background there, just lined up ready to go with an empty grid. No personnel on the grid anymore. I love seeing Lucas throw this thing about. I'm hoping to try and get a ride in the F-Max at the Nürburgring in just a few weeks' time. 2 weeks from today, we'll be racing at the Nürburgring. It's incredible, isn't it? And in 30 seconds from now, we'll be racing at Slovakia Ring as the 30-second board gets held in the air. There's some of the swallows that Christina mentioned earlier on. Careful where you're standing. Jamie Anderson on the inside of the grid then, on the front row. In the Promoters' Cup, it's going to be very important for Jamie to get big, big points here. He's got a fantastic advantage being so high up the order because there's 7 trucks between him and his next rival, Stefan Fass. And Frank leads us away in the Iveco. and I'll rerun you through the grid order for this afternoon's second race, the final race of today. But let's not forget, we have 2 races and qualifying coming up tomorrow as well. As the green flag flies, then it's Jamie Anderson and Antonio Albacete on the front row. Antonio with the most podiums out of anybody in the championship at the moment. Andre Kurzim lines up on row 2 with Steffi Halm to his left-hand side. The 2 Ivicos maybe trying to work together to dethrone the 2 MANs ahead of them. On row 3, it is Adam Lachko in the number 55 Bagheera ZM Racing Freightliner alongside 6-time champion Jochen Hahn in position number 6. Sascha Lenz starts in 7th place in the number 2 MAN, the SL Truck Sport 30 machine. This is going to be his 205th start in the championship. Norbert Kisch is next up in 8th place. Then we have Stefan Faas in 9th position and Shane Brereton rounding out your top 10. A quick word on the Iveco S-Way. As you see there, it is powered by Bio LNG, those humongous chrome tanks on the side of it, holding all the fuel it needs. And it runs in a very, very powerful manner. It's an awesome bit of kit. Really awesome bit of kit. I love the Iveco S-Way, but you don't need me to keep telling you that by now. You all know how much I love that thing as the field makes its way down towards turn 3. Next row on the grid is row 6. Along there we will see Jose Rodriguez in the number 14 truck. He's got over 140 starts in this championship. And he's got 2 overall race victories and 5 podiums to his name. Clemens Hecker is next up. A driver with not as much experience. He's had 35 race starts coming into this race meeting, so this will be his 37th. And then on the back row of the grid, row 7, we will have number 64, Louis Requenco, the Portuguese driver, lining up alongside young Frenchman Theo Calve. Now, Theo is honestly such a star to watch. He's just got absolutely no luck on his side so far this season, and I really do hope. I try to remain unbiased, but honestly, I would love to see Theo come through the field here and have a strong performance because he's had no luck at all throughout 2022 so far. It seems like the luck swings one way or the other with Bagheera at the moment, to be honest with you, because while Adam Lachko had a torrid time at Misano, Theo actually had a good race meeting and got 4 trophies from 4 races. But then at the Hungaroring, while Adam had a fantastic performance, Theo got a bunch of DNFs and barely any points to his name. And now it seems like so far this weekend it's gone and stayed the same way because Adam's not having a bad time of it and Theo having a DNF. So I'm sure and hope you'll join me in crossing your fingers and hoping that everybody has a good race, but necessarily that Theo Calve gets at least a clean run on his side this time round. One man that might not be exactly hoping for that is Jamie Anderson, the man starting on pole position that will lead this field away. He's got very experienced drivers all around him, most notably Antonio Albacete on his left-hand side. 500 race starts for Albacete. Jamie Anderson is about to make his 87th. Green flags wave all around the track. And Frank takes us to the very end of the lap. And I thought earlier during the end of the first race that we did see some bodywork on Clemens Hecker's truck hanging off. And it turns out, I've just been sent a picture actually, that he took out one of the penalty markers. There are some of them around the circuit. He took it out, but it got stuck in the bumper and scraped along the floor so much that it completely rubbed it down. Anyway, that's all trivial now as we get ready for the second race to start. The field makes its way into turn 13, and it's trucks 33 and 23 that will head us away. You can get a quick glimpse there of the huge missile and the military helicopters and vehicles in the background. They will not faze anybody. So, round the last corner we go. They spread out to fill the grid slots either side. And the 10th race, already the 10th race in the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is underway. And it looks like a tidy start for Jamie Anderson. He jumps off the line really nicely and manages to stay completely in front of Antonio Albertetti. Antonio moves over to the right-hand side to try and cover it off. Steffi Halm is trying to defend against Andre Kurzim as well. But Jamie Anderson's going to lead the whole field into turn one. Nice job by Jamie on that start. Everybody else behind is really bunched up. You can see dust being kicked up even just on the straight. Andre Kurzim now having to defend down the inside from Adam Lachko. And look at that, Jochen Hans put Sasha Lenz on the grass all the way down to turn three. He says, you're not coming through here, sunshine. Steffi Halm around the outside of turn two. That's a really scary place to be on the outside. These trucks are almost at full speed all the way around turn two at 100 miles an hour. Now they make their way up roller coaster style over the crest and then back down hard on the brakes into turn three. So it's Anderson leading Albertetti, then Kurzim and Steffi Halm still side by side. Then it's Lachko and then Norbert Kish. Lachko and Kish have both got ahead of Jochen Hahn and Sasha Lenz due to that battling. Somebody's gone off and come back on very suddenly. There's a lot of dust being kicked up. But what a start by Jamie Anderson. Number 33 machine going very, very well in the British driver's hands. Everybody all line astern at the moment, except Teo Calve, who's trying to go around the outside. I think of... Who was that, actually? Was that... It was Rikwenko that he was trying to go around. Kurzim's gone deep. Kurzim's gone very deep on turn 8. He's run wide halfway around the corner, and I think Steffi Halm's tried to get through, but don't quite think she's made it. I think Kurzim just got enough of a run on the exit of the corner to stay in front. It's hard to tell who's who with all the dust that's getting kicked up, isn't it? But look at this absolute train. I know that's not plural for trucks, but Kurzim leading Halm, and then around the outside of Lachko goes Norbert Kish. They're side by side on the exit. Norby's down the inside for turn 11. That's the right-hander. Then they're going to flick it left now to turn 12. One of the penalty markers gets absolutely sent. That was Jochen Hahn knocking that over. Not to try and get him in trouble. This is on board with Steffi Halm as she heads down towards turn 13. Andre Kurzim just in front. No slipstreaming really going on here. The trucks are governed to 100 miles an hour, 160 Ks. So if they sit behind and get in the slipstream, all they're doing is heating the truck up for no speed advantage. Because if they do go over 100, they get a telling off. So Norbert Kish has got ahead of Adam Lachko and Jochen Hahn and Sasha Lenz. They're his three main rivals that he wanted to clear, and the three drivers that are all right behind him in the championship. So that's very important stuff from Norbert Kish. Starting to wonder if we're going to see a dominant season like we did in 2015 from Norby. He absolutely dominated the championship on the way to his second title with 19 race wins out of the 24 that we had that year. Sorry, the 28 that we had that year. Whole field roars its way around turn 2. They look fantastic through there, don't they? The way they settle down after the little rise. And they travel so quickly through the fast right-hander. Now then, Jamie Anderson's having to start defending here from Antonio Albertetti. As it sounds like there's been some shenanigans in the background. There was a lot of tyre squealing and an above board and above normal amount of tyre squealing. These tyres make one hell of a racket, I must admit. Look at the dust there coming off the back of them. You can see as they run over the dust, there's this sort of vortex of it where it gets trapped in the sort of circulating air behind the cab, and it doesn't really fall away from the truck that much. Obviously, they're not the most aerodynamic of things, these trucks. They do still have some aerodynamic aids in the bodywork that does help the performance, but being honest with you, they're like housing estates on wheels. But 1,200 horsepower, 5,000 newton meters of torque, exciting housing estates on wheels, I have to say. Can never underestimate how exciting truck racing is. Just the fact that these things do race is amazing. You know, seeing some of the comments that we've had since we started with the live broadcasting of people only just realizing now that truck racing still exists and that people actually do it. It's been awesome to see. As down the inside of Steffi Halm there goes Norbert Kish, trying to get the move done. He's going to be on the outside for turn 11. Tries to get a cutback. Has he made that work? I think he has. He's got a long side. Now he's going to be on the outside for turn 12, but he's going to use the speed around there to get a good run. And look at this from Norbert Kish. Fantastic carving through the field. Adam Lachko's trying to get involved in this as well. Teo Calve's got ahead of Shane Brayton further down the order as well. So Teo's coming through the order well. None of them are going to get near Jamie Anderson, though, in these early stages. Norbert Kish squeezes his way through down the inside of turn 13. You can see just how much that truck leans in terms of the cab, but the chassis stays so flat. They've really got that thing set up well. And this is perfect scenario for Norbert Kish now, because he's got past Steffi Helm and he's left her to fight with Adam Lachko. The two of them were scrapping for position in the earlier race. And now Norbert Kish can try to break away if these two carry on fighting behind. Jochen Hahn's having to defend from Sasha Lenz for 7th place as well. But everybody's still running and only separated by just over 10 seconds throughout the 14 truck field. That's really good to see. Now it looks like there's a little bit of bodywork damage on Steffi Helm's truck on the front right. I think she actually got a tiny tap from Norbert Kish as they went into turn 13. She tried to turn in as early as possible. Jamie Anderson still leading the way, though. British driver leading the Promoters' Cup in this race. He won the Promoters' Cup in the first race, and now he's been rewarded with pole position because he finished 8th overall. We'll have to see how long he can hold on to this lead, because Antonio Alberthetti is certainly showing us that in certain places around this track at the moment, he's definitely got a little bit more pace than Jamie. But Jamie, after fighting with engine problems for quite a while, has finally got an engine underneath him that he is really, really pleased about. And now Norbert Kish closing in on Andrei Kurzim. Getting very, very close indeed, isn't he? And behind there, look, there is the move. Steffi Helm says, get out there, sunshine, to Adam Lachko. Doesn't take no for an answer. And Sasha Lenz now goes through as well. Has Jochen Hahn made it through too? I think, yes, he has. He has. Jochen Hahn gets in front. So Lachko losing not just the one place, but two. And Jochen Hahn, it looked like he went in a little bit hot on the brakes there. Nearly clattered into the back of Steffi Helm, his teammate in the team's championship. Jochen and Steffi teaming up as Die Bullen von Iveco. And here's Norbert Kish already making another move. This time he's on the outside, though, going into turn 13. Can he make this one work? Because Andrei Kurzim is going to have the inside. You can expect Norby to break early here and try and get a cutback underneath. Swapping sides underneath Andrei Kurzim. And there you go. Look, he's done it. He's absolutely nailed it. What a fantastic move that is by Norbert Kish. They get closer and closer together as they go around turn 13. But that is absolutely beautiful racecraft by Norbert Kish. Now, you can expect to see that in touring cars or GT cars, but not a 5.5-ton truck. That was millimetre perfect driving by the Hungarian. Andrei says, not in your life, though, son. Stays on his left-hand side. It's dead level, completely level as they go down the start-finish straight. There's a big quartet battle going on behind them as well, led by Steffi Helm. And then we've got Jochen Hahn to her right-hand side, Sasha Lenz and Adam Lachko involved in that. And just ahead, it looks like Norbert Kish has got the move done. Seemed like he ran a little bit wide into turn 1. But it looks like they got through there unscathed. There's Louis Rakwenko chasing down Clemens Hecker. Good to see those guys have always got somebody to battle with at the back of the field. But look at that. One big amalgamation of trucks as they head over to turn 2. Jochen Hahn gets in front of Sasha Lenz and Steffi Helm. There's bits of bodywork still coming to rest on the outside of the track. There's Antonio Alberthetti still chasing down Jamie Anderson. There's stuff going on everywhere in this race. It's great to watch. Really strong advert for truck racing this is. Now this quartet is going to become a sextet if they're not careful here, because behind them we're going to have Shane Brayton involved. Sorry, it's not Shane Brayton. It's Jose Rodriguez and Stefan Faas involved. As speaking of getting involved, Steffi Helm and Adam Lachko get very involved in each other's trucks for just a moment there as they weave their way through turns 4 and 5 and then hard onto the brakes into 6. Jochen Hahn trying to stay ahead of Sasha Lenz. You had a quick reminder there that while this is good, clean racing, it's clean in many ways as they all run on 100% renewable HVO diesel. Now, the race leaders are going to start to worry here because they're going to, no, good English, Chaz. They're going to see in their mirrors a big, as it's described, fire red Revesh racing truck bearing down on them with Norbert Kish at the wheel. Norbert is on lap 4 of this race, and we're reaching the halfway point, and he's already broken through from 8th on the grid to get up to 3rd. What is his progress going to be like in the latter stages of the race? Let's not forget the tyres go off, and they are going off quite quickly here due to the very tough conditions. It's very durable rubber between all of these wonderful machines. Listen to the noise they make as well. They do make a hell of a racket, these racing trucks. Like I say, if you've not seen them before, I urge you to go and watch truck racing wherever you can. It is amazing to see. And as you saw at the top of your screen there, trucks 44 and 55, that's Steffi Halm and Adam Lachko. They are both under investigation. I believe that'll be for the incident where Steffi was just coming out of turn 8 and Adam ended up on the grass. I think Steffi made him out of room. Could have just been an honest mistake, though, just trying to get on the power as early as possible. In the long run, though, Lachko's actually got in front. And look at this. The whole field, pretty much anyway, still very nose to tail, aren't they? That was all the way back from 5th place down to about 13th. Sorry, down to 12th, Shane Brereton. There's Andre Kurzim. And then behind, you've got Hahn, Lenz, Lachko, Halm, Rodriguez, Fass, Calve, and Brereton. All in one big train, only separated by about 4 seconds. Now, this is the lead trio. Jamie Anderson still holding on at the front. He's having a great drive so far. Jamie's never won a race in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship outright. He's never even had an overall podium finish, according to the statistics I got sent. He's had 87 race starts as of right now. And maybe, just maybe, he's on to get that overall podium. And even, just maybe, he could get an overall race win. But the drivers behind him, well, between them, they've got, I'm going to get the maths right on this, 825 race starts between them. That is Antonio Alberthetti and Norbert Kish. Between them, there's also 6 titles. So if you want a wealth of experience, you need to just combine those two. Maybe even Jochen Harm as well in that list. But still, Norbert Kish attacking Antonio Alberthetti means that Jamie Anderson can break away, although Norby might be just about to get this moved on, and that's not what Jamie wants. Jamie wants Antonio to fight this as hard as he can. The Spaniard never backs down. And look at that, Norbert Kish is drifting the truck around turn 10. Through turn 11, is he going to get that cutback that he's done so many times before? Or is Antonio going to block it off? Is he going to run out wide? Yes, he stops the move from happening, although Jamie kicks up a load of dust. No further action between Steffi Halm and Adam Lachko. But look at these two now, covered in dust, bits of bodywork flapping about. This is fantastic truck racing. This is exactly what everybody has come to Slovakia Ring to see. This is exactly what I've come down into my office downstairs in my house to see as well. Nice line through there, actually, by Antonio Alberthetti. Managed to carry some good speed. Norbert Kish has just got such an amazing punch out of the corner, though. Look at that. He's got a long side as well as they go round turn 14. Has he got an overlap? I think there's a tiny bit of one. But the way that thing just punches out of the corner is just unbelievable. Not really anybody can match it. Looks like the red arrows have flown over at really low level down the start-finish straight. It may be a runway, but honestly, the amount of dust, look at it in the air. It's really lingering in the wind. The wind is blowing from the rest of the circuit directly towards the grandstand and the paddock, though, to be fair. And there's more of it, says Jamie Anderson. Norbert Kish is absolutely on a mission here to try and get past Antonio Alberthetti. He looks down the inside into turn 2. Antonio closes the door. Antonio knows exactly what he's doing, trust me. This man knows what he's doing as well, doesn't he? Jamie Anderson's doing a fantastic job out at the very front of this race. We're on lap 6 out of 8. 2 more to go after this. And I'd argue that if he keeps this nice and tidy here, he could hold on here because Norbert Kish is having a fantastic go at Alberthetti. And you have to say, Antonio, what an amazing defensive drive this is We've seen the pace that Norby's got to come through the field, but Antonio is putting that truck exactly where he needs it. Through turn 5, kicking up yet more dust into turn 6. Norbert tries to carry pace around the outside, I think, as you can barely see now into turn 6. Does become a bit of a hazard when dust is that thick, doesn't it? Still Antonio holding on in turn 8. Now, these two, funnily enough, are teammates in the Teams Championship. They were Team Titan last season, and this time they are Revesh and T-Sport. Norbert Kish and Antonio Albertetti leading the Teams Championship on 157 points coming into this race meeting. And there's no teamwork going on here, I can tell you that for free. Norbert tries it again. Back down the inside into turn 10. Antonio keeps him tight to the apex, tight to the inside. He's going to try and get rid of that overlap, but Norby gets a really good exit. He might get this done. Antonio says, not on your life. Back down the inside. Now he's on the outside for turn 12. Dust gets kicked up everywhere. It's incredibly dramatic, but look at them head to head, completely side by side down the back straight towards turn 13. They are dead level all the way down. 2,400 horsepower between the two of them. And Antonio has the inside line. Norby has the cutback, and he's done it again. He's absolutely done it again. He's mugged him off. There's contact, though. Antonio tries to close the door slightly, squeeze him to the inside, and Norbert Kish gets through. That is a phenomenal move, and we've seen it happen twice. Antonio put up such a great defense, though. You have to say, the Spaniard used all of his experience there to try and stop that happening. Pretty sure some of them are honking the horn down the straight. I'm not sure if that's coming from the paddock or the trucks. Everybody very, very happy, though, by the sounds of it, to see Norby in front, and look at the pressure being applied by Antonio as they go into turn 1. That's Jochen Hahn going down the inside of Andre Kurzim as well. Jochen tries to move up into P4 for truck number 4. Now, this is the penultimate lap of the race. Jamie Anderson has a 2.6 second advantage over Norbert Kish, or had one as they crossed the line. Jochen Hahn goes past Andre Kurzim. Sasha Lenz says thank you very much. Tries to squeeze through at turn 2. Second in the Promoters' Cup at the moment is Jose Rodriguez. He's 9th overall, ahead of Stefan Fast. Then Teo Calve still ahead of Shane Brereton. But look at this. Sasha Lenz now down the inside of Andre Kurzim. I wouldn't be surprised to see Adam Lachko in the Freightliner try to come through as well. He does put his nose down the inside. He's alongside as they go out of turn 3. Kurzim's wide and Lachko goes through. Can Steffi Halm take advantage of the Don't Touch Racing machine going off? The incident in turn 13 is under investigation. I can only imagine that is the contact between Norbert Kish and Antonio Albertetti. And as mentioned, Steffi Halm down the inside of Andre Kurzim. Look at Sasha Lenz. He's trying to shortcut the entire track here to try and get past Jochen Hahn. It's fantastic to watch, but it's not quite working for him yet. Lachko's truck is absolutely caked in dust. He's just been following on with these guys as they sort of progress through the field. He's watching it all happen and just picking them off one by one. This is awesome racing once again from the championship. This circuit promised to be an absolute belter. It's awesome to be back. And I'm so, so happy to see that it is providing this great racing with the reverse grids as Lachko went in a little bit hot there into turn 10. Sasha Lenz has got the tow hook out. He's completely attached to the back of Jochen Hahn's Iveco. And they've got one more lap to sort this all out. Dust being kicked up at every single apex and exit. And there you see the immense acceleration of these machines. Down towards turn 13, they get to 100 miles an hour very, very quickly. And then the drivers have to manage the exact speed that they're doing. I think the figure is something like 2.7 seconds that they have to get back under 100 miles an hour from when they exceed it. There's a little bit of a bump and another one from Sasha Lenz as they try to tuck the nose of the truck down the inside through turn 13, through the left-hander at turn 14. And Sasha Lenz look instantly ducking out of the slipstream to the right-hand side to make sure he gets as much cold air as possible into the engine. We're on to the final lap, though, and Jamie Anderson was only ahead of Norbert Kish by 0.7 of a second. And I can imagine that that gap is going to come down very, very quickly. We know that Norby is easily the fastest man in the championship at the moment. There is the gap back from Theo Calvé and Shane Brereton to Clemens Hecker and then Louis Requenco. This battle's still going on, though. Jochen Hahn trying to hold off Sasha Lenz and Adam Lachko. Now, as the leaders are about to trigger the Sector 1 beam, I'm going to keep my eye on whether Jamie Anderson stays in front. Here is the battle down into turn 3. Jamie has Norby all over the back of him. He just needs to be wary of the move that Norby sets up into turn 10. Jamie runs a little bit deep, though, on the exit of turn 3. This is the left at 4, then the right at 5. And he just needs to keep his calm and have it all tidy for turn 6. Is Norby going to try and put his nose down the inside there? No, he's not. But Jamie goes defensive. Tries to block that inside line. And look at that. Norbert's carried the pace all around the outside. I thought he nearly got that done then. Because if he was able to keep the nose all the way around the outside into that little kink there at turn 7, then he could have easily got the move done at turn 8. Now, this is where Norby sets it up, look. He takes a wide line on the way into turn 8, gets on the power nice and early, gets the run. And then as they get to turn 9 and turn hard left, he can somehow get that thing to handle well enough to get alongside as they go back up the hill. Look, there it is. You can just see he's just edging closer and closer. No, he's not. He's not done it this time. He's going to try and go around the outside at turn 10, which will become the inside for turn 11. It's all about the cutbacks here with Norbert Kish, but Jamie Anderson's doing a great job at defending so far. There's the left at 10, the right at 11. And Jamie just clips the dust. Norby tries to get another cutback. Jamie just needs to defend the inside line on the way down here and make sure that Norbert can't get to the outside to perform the cutback that we've seen him do a couple of times before now. There's 2 more corners left to go. Maths has never been my strong point. Hard on the brakes. Jamie Anderson is meters away from his first overall win in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. He's definitely going to win the Promoters' Cup in this race, it has to be said. And I think he's got it done. Round turn 13 they go. What a fantastic drive that was. Jamie Anderson takes the win in round 10 of the championship in the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Oh, I'm so pleased for him. So pleased. Norbert Kish put up a fantastic assault at the end there. And he gets second place and lots of championship points for that. Antonio Alberthetti gets another podium as well. But wow, oh wow, Jamie Anderson, well done, sunshine. I'll try not to get patriotic with him being a British driver, but still, that was a really strong performance. You do often see that with the reverse grid races, drivers that start near the front, if they're in the chrome category and in the Promoters' Cup, sometimes they can succumb to the pressure a little bit and just the outright pace of these Titan drivers can outdo them. But that was top-notch by Jamie Anderson. Absolutely top-notch. I can't hide my pleasure at seeing that. And it was well-deserved as well. He put in a great drive in the first race to get that 8th position, which put him on the front row for the second race of the day. And you have to give a hand to Norbert Kish. He may not have won the race, but still, to come through from 8th on the grid and drive like that, to come through to second, literally meters from taking the race win, that is another absolute barnstormer. And now everybody will gradually make their way in. And Norbert Kish there, I think, weaving around to sort of congratulate Jamie Anderson. And the field did stay really close together throughout all of that, didn't they? It was pretty impressive, to be honest with you. Because sometimes, admittedly, it can spread out quite a bit in this sort of championship. But that was incredibly impressive. And here's Norbert Kish doing what Norbert Kish does best apart from winning, drifting. He is a very well-versed drifter in these trucks. And look at that. Look at the smoke as well. Well, those tyres might not get retreaded. I'm still shocked. not so much shocked, but just excited at that result, you know. It's great to see a new winner in the championship. That was a very aggressive drift, wasn't it? Very aggressive drift there by Norbert Kish. Just had some of my own commentary come back through the through my headset then, sorry. My mistake. Norbert Kish, though, he's going to be first back into the pit lane, that's for sure. And all of the marshals, once again, sharing their appreciation. And, well, there's no end to it. I love it. I could never get bored. Never get bored of watching Norbert Kish drift this MAN. There's plenty of previous broadcasts from last year as well where he made an absolutely amazing show of chucking the back end of that truck sideways. Look at how much dust they're covered in. I'd be interested to know, actually, whether that does affect the engines in any way, whether it does sort of block up the radiators or the intercoolers at all. Because while it is very fine dust, it can really settle and cake on the front of the radiator. Now, if you ever do get a chance to see inside these trucks, you'll see the radiator. It's a good, I don't know, 4 feet back from the very front of the truck. So where you see the grille right at the front of the body, the radiator is almost under the back of the cab. They go really, really far back, and they're all tilted at certain angles as well. And there is Jamie Anderson taking the #1 spot for the first time in his truck racing career. Norbert Kish to his right-hand side, Antonio Alberthetti to his left. That's not bad company to have, is it? Not bad company to have at all. Jamie, of course, will get out the right-hand side of his truck. It is the only right-hand drive truck in the field. Norbert Kish somehow not taking the wing mirror off with his door there. That was incredibly close. Watch for when he closes the door. See how close it gets to Jamie's wing mirror. They almost get squashed between the two trucks there for just a moment. And a well done from Norbert Kish, I think. Behind the door. And I imagine we'll see a very big smile on the face of Jamie Anderson when he does emerge from behind there. Norby will be happy. Second place, more strong championship points. And he's done it. Jamie Anderson has done it. An overall win in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Awesome drive. Absolutely awesome drive. And I bet that was very, very hot work in there. There's Jane with a bear hug. And then Christina is going to track Jamie down. Norbert Kish could barely catch him, but Christina can. She'll be there for just a word with him in a moment. And there is Norbert Kish as well, speaking with his team, giving congratulations and appreciation all round. And I believe at some point we'll see Antonio Alberthetti emerge from his T-Sport Banau MAN as well. You can see just how hot it is, though, out there. It's absolutely baking hot. And a man that's really hot right now, by the look of it, Jamie Anderson, who's with Christina.
Yeah, normally there's a chat behind closed doors. This was a chat behind open doors. Congratulations. You won this race. I think, yeah, you deserve the points. You deserve the win. But maybe Antonio Alberthetti gets some credits points for you because he was putting out his elbows first.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a great win for us. It's the first time we've ever won on the main podium. Was a bit nervous from the start, but you know, it weighed well. Had a real good start. Felt confident in the trucks thanks to the mechanics and the boys in the team, and it's good for us all to be here. Had dramas in Hungary, and then now second race to start on pole and finish in first place in front of some of the best drivers. You know, the fastest championship is a good experience.
Absolutely, congratulations. I think your nerves had to be really stable, those last curves and corners. How were you preparing yourself, staying in your line?
I just focused on what I was doing. Yeah, it was a bit daunting when I see Norby catching, you know, because I see the times he can do. But I just stuck to my own lines and hugged the inside and made him take the wider line, you know, the faster man take the wider line, and he just couldn't pull it off. Maybe a couple more laps might have been different, so I'm thankful it come that soon.
Absolutely, 8 laps it is, but also the kilometers, of course, they are there. So it's a full race. This is not just the win of this race, which is really amazing, but 2 times right now on the podium, because in the Promoters Cup, of course, you are the best after this race too.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we started the season a bit on the back foot, but hopefully now with these double podium of the Promoters Cup, it pushes us up that a bit more. But you know, we're just really excited that we've come first in the main cup. Off pole position, but as a new starter in the Grammar Cup, it's a good experience.
Sometimes you hand away the trophy. I think this will stay in your shelter.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry, Chaz, this time no trophy for you, but thanks anyway.
Thank
you. Yeah, unfortunately not. But to be honest with you, I think that's probably going to be a trophy that Jamie will want to hold on to. An overall win in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, as he called it as well, the fastest championship. That is a really, really strong drive. Look at how dusty these machines are, though. I know I've mentioned it quite a bit, but honestly, they often come back looking very clean and very tidy still, maybe with a bit of bodywork damage, but with all of the dust, they just look absolutely awesome, used for purpose. Christine is back down there, though, with another interview.
Yes, we're here with Antonio Albacete. Congratulations, you're on the podium, first out on the grid. We spoke to you, you were very well prepared, and now we can talk about the race. You had the elbows out, defending against Kish, maybe getting Jamie Anderson a little bit more time.
Yeah. I mean, Jamie was very fast on the start, you know, he was amazing. He did a very, very good start, so I just tried to follow him. So at the beginning it was okay, more or less I was able to follow him. But then the last part of the race, Norbert was very, very fast coming. He was very good on the braking. I have a little bit of problems on the braking in the 2 slow corners. So at the end he touched me a little bit and I have to let him pass. And yeah, we give a little bit of space to Jamie, so he was lucky that we fight a little bit, you know. But yeah, I mean, happy for this 3rd place. It's another podium, so we keep fighting.
Thank you very much. Then off to the podium. Thank you. So they need to walk just a couple of more meters. The podium is down there, but you won't miss anything. We will be there for you, covering with Chaz and Evie.
That is Antonio Albacete's 275th podium in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. That's quite the milestone itself, isn't it? His next rival in terms of those figures is Jochen Hahn. He's got 264 podiums to his name, but 275, well, that is a hell of a lot for Antonio, and I hope he knows that, and he might even be a bit even happier about the fact that he's got it. We got 2 happies out of Antonio this time round, but I'm really excited to see who gets soaked by who in terms of the champagne battle. It's one of my favourite things of the weekend now. I've come to realise that, actually, in quite an odd way. But as this is the final race of the day, the drivers' suits and everything can get washed overnight. Jamie Anderson takes an overall win then. That's a result screen he'll want to take a screenshot of. Norbert Kish has 2nd place with more championship points, only 2/10 between the two of them. Antonio Albacete rounds out your podium. Jochen Hahn, Sasha Lenz, Adam Lachko, Steffi Haum and Andrei Kurzim had an amazing battle, eventually finishing in that order from 4th down to 8th. Jose Rodriguez finishes inside the top 10, 2nd in the Promoters Cup. Stefan Faas rounds out the top 10 podium in the Promoters Cup. Teo Calve recovers to 11th, not quite what he would have had in mind though. Finishes ahead of Shane Brereton, that's important for their points. Clemens Hecker finishes in 13th, with Louis Requenco rounding out the field in 14th position. So we'll get the drivers up and onto the podium in just a second. All of the necessary discussions and the chatting will be going on behind the scenes. And this is how the championship looks now. Norbert Kish, top of the pile with 130 points. Sasha Lenz on 104, breaks through that 100-point barrier. Jochen Hahn is 3rd on 97. And then it's Adam Lachko and Antonio Albacete, who now has a 7-point gap over Steffi Haum. Andrei Kurzim is in 7th, ahead of Jamie Anderson, who moves up now into 8th. He's ahead of Teo Calve and Shane Brereton in the overall standings. Those two still tied on 19 points. Anthony Janiak is 11th on 13 points ahead of Rene Reiner. Stefan Faas now has 10 points to his name, with Martin Gibson in 14th. Then it's Clemens Hecker, Jose Rodriguez and Thomas Robineau, rounding out the 17 trucks that we've had competing so far. You can sort of sense that everything is slightly winding down now to complete the day here at the Slovakia ring, the first of 2 days, which has gone by very, very quickly, I have to say. Very, very quickly indeed. We'll have our drivers out onto the podium in just a second. And there is Dominic from the championship. From ETRA, at least. Had a good laugh with Dominic actually in Budapest. He's a really funny guy. Really funny guy. He's one of those guys with a really dry sense of humour that you have to sort of take a bit of time to clock on with and realise when they're joking and when they're not. But he's always a very hard-working guy. I don't think I've ever seen him stood still, actually, to be honest with you. So all of the necessary announcements and everything going on now as the drivers make their way to the podium. I think you can see them making their way around the back of the building, actually, on the left-hand side of the shot. First up, Antonio Albertetti, podium 275, as mentioned. And the Spaniard does an amazing job once more. Nearly held off Norbert Kish all the way to the end. The two of them teaming up this season had a great battle right near the end. And his first win in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, Jamie Anderson takes to the top step.
Trophies will be presented by Mr. Vladimír Penxa, country manager, Iveco, Czech Republic and Slovakia.
And as you hear there from the announcer, the trophies are being handed over by Vladimír Penxa, who is the Iveco country manager for the Czech Republic and Slovakia.
For the second place, driver Norbert Kish.
Norbert Kish gets the silver trophy. It's nice that they still follow the tradition sometimes of going bronze, silver and gold with the trophies. I'm a big fan of that. And it's another bit of silverware for Norby's trophy cabinet, which I imagine is a very big one. And there you go, Jamie Anderson's first overall win and his first overall win trophy. He'll be a very, very happy guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up for the national anthem of United Kingdom.
And there you go, the national anthem of the United Kingdom before Jamie Anderson.
Present your trophies with the Goodyear caps.
And now they have pictures taken on the top step of the podium.
This will be the great memory, Jamie.
And then they will do the usual process of changing their caps to their own branded ones. Something I've not really seen in any other championships around the world, actually. But these drivers carry so many partners, sponsors, and brands with them that, you know, one of the main things in motorsport is whatever hat the driver is wearing. You know, certain drivers in history have become known for certain hats. Now, let's see who gets drenched the best. I think Jamie Anderson deserves an absolute soaking for that performance, and I think Antonio deserves it for defending from Norbert Kish, as well as Norby deserves it for carving through the field like that. Antonio's waiting and waiting. There you go. Jamie's getting drenched. Is Lewis going to get drenched as well? Our cameraman? Oh, there you go. Oh, it's a shame the lighting gantry hides that, actually, but Jamie's just had the whole bottle poured down his back by Norbert Kish. And there you go. Fantastic, fantastic celebration of three amazing drivers that this championship has in its ranks. You can see Norbert Kish there just going over to have some pictures taken. And I believe we may look back at some of the action from the second race. And we'll see exactly how all of that unfolded. There is Norbert now walking away from the podium, trophy in hand for second place, and here's a quick look back at how all of the racing happened. Well, in race 1, it was Norbert Kish trying his very best to hold off Sascha Lenz in the early stages, and just about doing so before he left the field behind in his dust, quite literally, to take the race win. Jochen Hahn held on to third in the first race, while the battles really started behind him. The Don't Touch racing machine of Andrei Kurzim pulling off T-Sport Bernau's Antonio Alberthetti. Steffi Halm soon came under pressure from Adam Lachko. Eventually, with her making a slight mistake, Adam was able to get through. Jamie Anderson showed he had great pace in battling Antonio Alberthetti right to the flag in the first encounter. The two of them both trying their best to get past Andrei Kurzim. But Norbert Kish took his 6th race win of the season, win number 69 of his career. And you can see now things starting to calm down. And this was the calm after the storm. This was the beginning of race 2 with the reverse grid. Jamie Anderson making an amazing start, as commented on by Antonio Alberthetti. He said he was literally amazing at the start, so quick. And he held on to the lead in the early stages while everybody else tried to sort it out. Shuffling amongst the field was constant. Steffi Halm trying her very best to hold off the chasing pack while Norbert Kish carved his own way through bit by bit. The reigning champion really showing us amazing pace. He eventually would go around the outside of Steffi down towards turn 13. Adam Lachko would also try the move as well. Steffi unfortunately would drop a couple of places after that while still defending very, very hard from the Czech driver. Here, a little bit of contact at turn 8. No further action for that one though. It was just deemed as hard racing in the end. Norbert Kish was an absolute star with this cutback manoeuvre at turn 13, catching Andrei Kurzim off guard, and then eventually he would do the same to Antonio Alberthetti with a tiny bit of contact along the way. Antonio was an absolute star in holding him back though. The battling was ferocious between who are the two teammates this year for Revesh and T-Sport, but eventually Norbert Kish would get through. Antonio mentioning that he had a little bit of a braking issue into some of the slower corners, but that beautiful cutback manoeuvre, as we've seen it from Norbert, was absolutely perfect. Andrei Kurzim unfortunately made a mistake and dropped a couple of places right near the end, costing him a few championship points, while Jochen Hahn worked very hard to hold off Sascha Lenz. Speaking of holding off, Jamie Anderson performed brilliantly throughout the whole thing to defend from reigning champion Norbert Kish and take his first ever overall win in the European Truck Racing Championship, the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And there you see now the grandstand almost empty over on the right-hand side. There's a few people still around the podium, as I believe the team's podium is being taken on right now. The team members basically from each squad make their way up onto the top 3 steps. So there will be someone up there from Anderson Racing, from T-Sport Bernau, and of course from Revesh Racing Team as well. But it's been a very, very hot day at Slovakia Ring, and a very dusty one at that. And that is the Promoters Cup. Stefan Fass gets 3rd place. Jose Rodriguez gets 2nd position and some silverware for his troubles. And of course, overall race winner and Promoters Cup race winner, Jamie Anderson, gets 2 winners' trophies from one race. You can see the smile on his face. Beautiful, beautiful job by Jamie.
And now the national anthem of United Kingdom. congratulations. And now, drivers, please present your trophies to the cameras.
And there you go, massive round of applause for Jamie Anderson and our Promoters Cup top three. Very well done to each of them on their respective performances. Jose Rodriguez did really well in that one, actually, to get ahead of Shane Brayton and Stefan Fass. And now Jamie Anderson gets another go at the champagne. Let's see who gets drenched first. Well, we know that Stefan Fass is good with a bottle of champagne. And, yeah, of course, Lewis gets drenched as well. Beautiful. Oh, sounds like the song has got stuck. Whoever's controlling that. And then it would be the team podium. But I believe, as we see over to the right of our shot there, Christina will be having a word with Jose Rodriguez in just a second to see what he made of all of that racing in the very hot, dusty climate here at the Slovakia ring.
Hiding from the champagne, to be honest, over there, because as soon as Stefan Fass is on the podium, better run. José Rodrigues, parabéns, uma corrida bem difícil, mas vocês tinham mais pontos agora no pódio. Como foi a corrida?
Portanto, a corrida, fico contente pela partida que tive uma boa partida. Foi o segredo, no fundo, de ter um bom lugar e depois aguentar na mesma posição. Na primeira corrida correu um pouco mal, na partida tive uns toques, mas agora felizmente consegui vir ao pódio, que é o mais importante.
So you said, of course, it was very important to get a great start, find a position where you can compete very well. He said after the first race he had some kind of difficulties here and there, a little talk, as he was saying, and you can imagine the sound. Eu também vi que tinha alguns problemas em alguns lugares desta corrida, especialmente eu acho uma curva que eu vi assim, a relva e o pó subir na ar. I was saying that I saw him that you noticed as well in one curve, particularly where the dust came up and he was almost on the grass.
Portanto, na minha frente estava Adam Laco, Sasha, Han e Steffi Alme, eles vinham muito juntos e eu tinha muita dificuldade em ver mesmo. Também, portanto, corria fazia o mesmo trilho que eles faziam, mas era mesmo muito difícil ver para a frente.
Muito obrigado.
Um caminhão cross.
So he said, I was just seeing Adam in front from me, Steffi Hahn, Jochen Hahn, and how they were, as you said also, Chess, they were like in a row and competing, and he was trying to do the same as they did and trying to find a spot. A very difficult race for everyone, but really, really a nice outcome as the music slowly fades. So just quick question to our director. I think we're done right here, or do we have... yes, so Jess and Ebi, we're going to show the audience the result of the Promoters Cup.
This is how things look in the Promoters Cup then after that one. Jamie Anderson moves to the top of the standings, but it's the two British drivers that are tied. Jamie Anderson and Shane Brayton, 106 points apiece, 10 points clear of Teo Calve. Clemens Hecker is now in fourth place, 2 points clear of Stefan Fass. Jose Rodriguez moves into sixth position on 55 points. Martin Gibson is in seventh ahead of Thomas Robineau, and Louis Requenco is starting to sort of accumulate those points at the bottom of the pile, hoping to move a little bit further up by the end of the race meeting. But great stuff by Jamie Anderson with that overall win. Puts him to the top of the standings alongside Shane Brayton. Makes me quite happy to be British for once, actually.
Oh, Chaz, it's good to hear. And because you're not here, I will step on the podium for you. This is what you in Britain feel right now. So that was really a huge win from Jamie Anderson, of course, winning the Promoters Cup and this race too. Great to see, great sportsman, of course. So everyone was enjoying this second race here at the Slovakia ring. I really loved it to be presenting from out here. Really, the conditions are, yes, it is a bit warm, but the conditions are really, really great. Thanks to all the cameramen out there. Thanks to all the marshals waving their flags. Back to you. So we're going to see you on Sunday. Please tune in on our usual channels, YouTube, for example. Check out the social media channels. We provide a lot of material. You will tune in, and we do deliver the fun. So see you.